Stack Overflow and many of its related sites make their data available for public use. It's available online to be queried. But what if you wanted to import it into your own database? Fortunately, you can. I'll show you how in this video. Stack Exchange, which includes Stack Overflow and many other sites, create dumps of their data every so often and make it available online. You can access these data dumps on archive.org. The full URL contains details/Stack Exchange, and I've linked to this in the description. On the panel on the right, you can see more details about the files. Click on Show All to see all of the files. You'll see a list of all of the different sites or subdomains within Stack Exchange, along with when they were last modified and the size of the data. Choose a site from the list to use. For this video, we'll use dba.stackexchange. Click on either the name of the site here or View Contents. If you click on View Contents, then you'll see each of the individual files within the zip file. If you click on the name, you'll be prompted to download the zip file that contains all of these files. Download the file to somewhere on your computer. Once the file is downloaded, extract the files to a folder. Then open the folder. It contains a range of XML files, one for each table. Let's get this data into a database. Now, there are a few ways you can do this. I'll demonstrate one that worked for me. Let me know in the comments if you know of a better way. We're going to use MySQL Workbench to import these files into a MySQL database and import the XML file directly. If you're using a different database, look into the Import XML features for your database. I'll create some videos on how to import an XML file into other databases in the future. To import our XML files, we need to create a table to store the data, then run a command to import the XML file. We then repeat this for all our XML files. I've added an SQL script to my GitHub repository and a link in the description to this, which you can use to create all of the tables from this video, so that should save you time. So we'll create a table for the badges XML file. We've got one column for each of the attributes. I've assumed a maximum length of some of the columns here, and assume that the date values will get stored successfully in the datetime column. If this doesn't work, I can always import it as a text value and then convert it. Run this create table statement and the table is created. Now we need to import the XML file. To do this, we need to put our XML file in a location that can be read by MySQL. I think the exact location will depend on your operating system and how you have MySQL set up, but the location that worked for me on macOS was inside users/bb. I found this by running the show variables like secure file priv command. This shows the users/bb location, so I'll copy the XML file there. If you're not sure where to store this file, I would suggest searching on Google as it depends on your OS and how you've set up MySQL. Now that the file is in this location, we can run a command to import it. In MySQL, the command is called load.xml. Here is an example of the command. We specify in-file and then the file name. Then we specify the table we want to load the data into. In brackets, we specify all of the attributes from the XML file, and each of them begins with an @ symbol. The reason we do this is so we can map them to the columns in the table, as our column names are different to the XML attribute names. If they are exactly the same, you probably don't need this step. Next, in the set clause, we map the database columns to the XML attributes. Our command is now ready. Run the command and in a few moments it should complete. For me, the badges XML file loaded in a few seconds. Some of the other files are larger, so will take longer. We can check this table by running a simple select statement on the table. We run this statement and can see the data here. It looks pretty clean and all of the columns are populated. So it looks like that has worked. That was the process for one file. We need to repeat this for the remaining files. So copy all of the XML files into the same location. We can see that I've done that here. Next, we create the tables for this data. I've got all of these statements linked in the description below. We can run the statements and the tables are created. Now we can run the load XML commands for the other tables. I've also added a link to this in the description, so if you're using MySQL, you can copy and paste this and make any adjustments to the file path and it should be okay. Run all of these commands, which may take some time. You might get this error here about the data being too long for the column. This means there's a value in the XML file that is too large for your column. You could increase the size of the column, but for our purposes, we'll just trim the string when we load it in. We can do this with the substring function in MySQL and run the command again. Once they are finished, you'll have all of the data in your MySQL database. You can run some select queries on these tables to see the data inside them. And now the data is in the database, you can even run select queries to join them together and analyse them however you like. Hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this process. If you want to learn more about database design and SQL, visit my website at databasestar.com. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.